I'm going to be going out tonight, I think, with the police, and with the military, of course. So we're going to do a job. The National Guard is great. They've done a fantastic job.
At any moment, President Trump is expected to go on patrol in D.C., riding alongside law enforcement and military personnel to witness firsthand the impact of his law and order crackdown, which so far it has delivered results. D.C. had a murder-free week as Attorney General Pam Bondi touted 77 more arrests last night in the federal takeover. Trump is following in the footsteps of his cabinet, who showed up at Union Station in D.C. yesterday. Vice President Vance, Pete Hegseth, and Stephen Miller visiting guardsmen, but they also got heckled by left-wing protesters.
The voices that you hear out there, those crazy communists, they have no roots. They have no connections to the city. They have no families they are raising in this city. They're the ones who've been advocating for the 1%, the criminals, the killers, the rapists, the drug dealers. So we're going to ignore these stupid white hippies that all need to go home and take a nap because they're all over 90 years old, and we're going to get back to the business of protecting the American people and the citizens of Washington, D.C.
The media also expressing some outrage at Vance and company.
For them to talk about that these policies or bringing the National Guard is to actually make it safer for Black communities is actually insulting.
But J.D. Vance took his campaign for the Republican presidential nomination to Union Station today to bring Shake Shack burgers to the National Guard troops.
They did not go to Union Station yesterday for fun. They did not go there to talk to the National Guard. They knew there were protesters there. They went there to be on TV and to get these moments and get everyone talking about it.
Donald Trump should work with Muriel Bowser and the police chief to make D.C. safer instead of this authoritarian takeover.
I lived there for many years. It doesn't matter how much money you throw at it, Kennedy. It doesn't get better. It hadn't gotten better.
Well, I think you can look at public safety the same way you look at schools. And no matter how much money, how many millions of dollars you put into a student throughout their life in that system, they don't come out literate on the other end. Muriel Bowser had an opportunity to work with the president. And at first she said she was going to, and then she did an about face. I don't disagree with you. I actually don't like the National Guard being the ones who are in charge of law enforcement. I think if you are looking at D.C. under the federal umbrella as part of home rule, then I think it should be federal law enforcement. And, you know, that may be splitting hairs, but I've always had an issue with the militarization of law enforcement. And I think we have enough federal law enforcement that they could be doing a great job right now. And, you know, you've got Homeland Security agents, you've got U.S. Marshals, you've got FBI agents, and I think you could make a coalition and do the same thing. And I think what the vice president is saying is if this has been so effective in a week, that every crime-plagued city in America can do the same thing without federal law enforcement, without militarization, and they should be doing that. But they have abdicated their responsibility to the citizens of these cities, especially in the poorest districts. So you get to a point where, you know, when you only have just shy of 300 homicides in a year, we want to throw a parade. No, every single one of those lives meant something, but not when you're trying to fudge the numbers with fuzzy math in order to show a better case for yourself, because the bad case is what people feel when they walk around. People feel unsafe in D.C. You can say whatever you want, but if you feel bad, you're not going to want to live there and you're not going to want to visit.